Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another episode of the Three Wise Guys podcast. It's your boy Arya. I'm here with D, and I'm here with Luke. What's up, boys? What's up?
Oh, gang.
Oh shit. Okay, I swear. No, okay, there you go. I finished it. My hand hit it a bit too.
Okay.
I need to find a shorter version of that. I don't like that. It's too long. It's 36 seconds long. It's too much.
we gotta like, I feel like we gotta have an intro that has something to do with wise, like, anyway, it doesn't really matter. But so before we get into anything specifically, I want to ask D a question because I was actually talking to some of my other friends about this, and I feel like I'm getting some mixed results. So, D, is it weird to say if at any point, like, oh, I forget if I'm 19 or 20? Is that like a weird thing to say?
Is it a red flag?
No. Like, we'll take all context away from this. If you ask someone, you're like, oh, how old are you? And they're like, oh, I'm 19. Oh, wait, actually, I don't know if I'm 19 or 20 or something like that. Like, is that a weird thing to say?
No. I would say it's not because I forget my age and a lot of people's ages. Like, I remember people's birth years as opposed to their ages. So I can understand a mix up. Now, however, 19 to 20 is a big age gap. Like, I would want to remember, like, when I'm 20 to be able to say I'm 20.
Yeah.
Now, like, I remembered when I turned 21, but now that I'm older than 21, like, I might forget whether I'm 22 or, like, 23. You know what I mean? Like, but it's monumental ages. But no, I don't think it's a red flag, Arya. I don't think it's too weird. You're okay.
Okay, wait. I mean, like, I wouldn't target this out.
I don't
all of us thought this was a red flag on Friday specifically, but then when I talked to some of my other friends about this, they basically clarified. Basically, the context of this is like we're at a concert with first of all, I'm very sorry if I sound like shit today. Like, I probably usually sound like shit, but like more than usual because my voice is fucked from this concert. But yeah, we were like just like, like at this concert, and there was like these two girls that were like dancing in the general vicinity, and I think we ended up going to get food afterwards. I was pretty fucked up, so I don't really know what the motive was supposed to be. But
there was no motive. There was no motive.
Okay, there was no motive.
They were trying to figure out after parties. Like, one of the friends didn't want to go, and none of us wanted to go to no goddamn after party. So,
oh, dude, I could not remain conscious for another hour at that point. I was like, I need to sleep or I will pass out. But anyway, like, I think at one point afterwards, we basically asked, I think Arya asked them how old they are, and they were like, oh, I'm 19. Wait, actually, I forgot if I'm 19 or I don't remember how the dialogue went.
I remember how the dialogue went. We asked how old they were, and they didn't give us like a number or anything. The first thing they said was, I don't know. And we're like, you don't know?
Okay,
like,
never mind.
Yeah, like, I'm 19 or 20. You know what I mean? Like, something like that. And I was like, that right there, that's the red flag.
Okay.
That's like,
I see that.
I thought this was just like a bunch of guys just talking, or like friends talking, or like people, like, I don't know. I thought it was a little bit more convenient, but in that setting, no, you don't. Girls from a party or concerts.
You know what? You're right. You're right.
The context is so important.
If you were gonna like, I feel like if you're a female, you understand the intent of that question, right? So it's like, yeah, like, and if they're like,
because of, like, now you're like, all right, nah, you girls are being funny, okay?
Yeah, it's like no funny business. This is, you know what I mean? Like, just go home.
Oh, facts. But and I was even gonna say, right? I feel like if you were someone who was.
If you're that savage, these the type really.
No, these the type to not want to know. That's good enough.
You see what this is? Why can't I just speak to other people? Why do you have to assume like I'm the type? Like, there are people that you're shaming right now, and they need to have options, okay?
Honestly, no. I have no sympathy for those people. At that point, is like, just don't try. If you're that skeptical, just don't ask for the ID. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you need to do that for it?
No. Anyway, the concert was good. Just wanted to ask that because, like, I guess I don't remember that additional context because, again, I was like, I didn't even feel like I drank that much. I was just really dehydrated. Like, I was sweating like man's. didn't drink a single sip of water once they started consuming alcohol until it was the end of the night. So it was like just not a good mix of things.
You would think Luke is a rookie drinker, you know, like
Right? You know, I was like, look, you gotta be a little bit more prepared. You know, like it was outside, it was snowing.
I'll
So
hold,
you know,
I'll hold that specific L. Like that
Listen.
night, that should not have happened. Just considering the amount of drink, I shouldn't have. The results did not match the consumption.
He also ran a half marathon that night.
are you always throwing in half marathons wherever you can?
it was the most insane thing ever. So we left your place. By the way, okay, so for everyone who didn't know, we'll run down what was supposed to happen. We were supposed to pre at D. Dogbo, he's been in San Francisco. You just got back yesterday. Welcome back, by the way. Nice to have you back. We love you. Yeah, everyone give him a clap. Yeah, welcome back. You made it. Great. Love to have you. Love it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. See, that's how it's supposed to work. Okay. We were supposed to go, and I have a spare key to D's crib. You know, he trusted me with one, so we got permission and everything like that. And you know, we may have done some substances before leaving the house. So, you know, I tend to overlook certain logical points when that happens. So D's keys is on my core keys, and when I go out on a night like this, I'm like, you know, what better way to keep my keys safe than to leave them at home? And that's exactly what I did, along with our only entry point. So we ended up actually praying outside on D's patio. After that, when we were leaving, I think somebody left cigarettes behind. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, we left the beers behind for you. I'm glad you like it. It's not like we had a choice, but yeah. So we left D, somebody left the cigarettes behind, and then we get to the concert, and then one of us was like, oh, where are the cigarettes? And then no one could find it. And Luke, you know, being a man of absolute will, like just sheer power of will, is like, I'm going to go and I'm going to retrieve cigarettes for us. And before you know it, he was in full Naruto sprint down the street, like already like a block and a half down. You look and he's gone. He's dashing. So yeah, and then he came back. That was great.
Bro, I can't even lie. When I was running on Friday, I was really fucked up. But I remember one thought I had, which was just like, wow, like I'm making really good pace right now. Because you know what I mean? Because like I'm a runner, so like I always feel like I can usually tell like how fast I'm running, and then like more than that, like how fast I'm running in comparison to my breathing. Like that's the most important thing when you're running, right? Like your breath control. So I was like, oh shit, like I feel good. Like I'm like I could go for a minute right now.
Yeah, and when you're drunk, I feel like you feel lighter. Now it's like you can't feel as much of your body. You're only feeling your lungs. It's like, oh, I can't feel my body. Like, you know, like your legs don't hurt, your hands don't hurt. Like, you know, like you're just, all you can feel is your chest and your breathing. And if you got that in check,
you're just,
now you're going. Now you're smooth.
You're just
Dude,
going,
this is the
bro.
funniest thing. Like fitness guru right now, like talking about running, talking about making good pace. You while all the same time running for cigarettes. I think it's absolutely hilarious.
Specifically, desperately.
Like, there's one reason you were running, and that's it.
Perfectly balanced activity right there. Like, you know, like
Not at
harmony.
all, actually, to be honest.
Yin and yang.
fucking yeah.
Balance each other.
Wait, I'm just putting this out there because I don't know if I've ever said this on record. Like, running is not a justification for smoking cigarettes at all.
Well, running regularly
At all.
might be. I don't know.
No, it's not. It's not. Like, it never is. It never has been.
False info. Sorry about that.
You cannot put that information out there, bro. Like, it's not like, it doesn't, like, you know what I mean? I say it as a joke, but like, I don't actually like believe this, you know, like I'm well aware that this is detrimental to my health. I just want to put that out there, but
I'm glad we're all on the same page.
Definitely all sarcastic. Kill that.
D, tell us about San Francisco.
Yo, let's go. I'm in San Francisco jamming. All right, yeah, check out the song.
Okay, thanks, D. All right, next up.
But yeah, no, San Fran was pretty dope. It was pretty great, man. Like, love going to like another big city. Like, love the layout. Like, mountains. Like, it's so hilly. Oh my gosh, it's pretty. Like, walking is a decent workout. Like, you know, walking or like, and if you run there, like, yeah, no, you got great quads and like decent like calves as well. But yeah, like loved it. Super colorful homes, like a lot of homes with like different colors. That kind of like shook me. I'm like, you see a bright yellow house, like a huge house. Don't get me wrong, like a 4-bed just like chilling. Super old American architecture as well. It's like, it's funny. I don't think I've ever been able to say super old American architecture. Anytime I say old architecture, I usually say something European, like UK or French or like, you know, but like getting to see like old, like, you know, American homes, like stuff that you knew was from like early 90s, late 80s, like, you know, like, so it was pretty cool, very historical city. Like, love the bridges. There's like 2 bridges looking in at like apparently Golden Gate Bridge. Like that just looks great during the day. It's not even lit up. And then there's like another, I think, Oakland Bay Bridge as well. Like that's super lit up. So yeah, enjoyed all of that. Like I was downtown and then I was out in Redwood City with my cousin. Extended my flight to be able to go make a club appearance. They had like an Afrobeat at like a club downtown. So yeah, bro got us a section and like, you know, we got lit there. So that was awesome getting to do that. But yeah, no, all in all, it was good. I was out there for a conference and she was straight. She was smooth. So yeah, I'm back. It was like a nice 1 week away. Yeah, you know, chilling in a hotel, getting eaten out. I said getting eaten out. Ooh, that came out wrong. like get.
Yeah, that's for off the podcast.
Yeah. Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, getting invited to like this nice. I got invited by like a company. So some of these conferences, some of these companies will rent out like lounges and bars and throw their own parties. And like one of the companies, like rented out like this super like cool like. I'm pretty sure it might be a members only club. It was called like Press Club or something on downtown San Francisco. Like you go in and it's just wine stacked, all wood paneling. Fucking ate the tiniest hamburger in the world while out there as like, you know, like
excuse me. It's called a slider.
Oh yeah, slider. Yeah, of course.
It's called a slider. So
actually, you know what? Sliders are medium. This one's called a glider. Okay.
Slider. But yeah, it was that fast. It was just wines and like IPAs and shit. I didn't know.
I hate you.
San Francisco has a big IPA culture as well too, right? I didn't know.
Come on, bro. Did you
honestly
really?
At this point,
you could have guessed in time.
At this point in time, anywhere you go,
IPA was like a strictly Toronto thing. Honestly, I'm not as
no.
What do you mean?
IPA
is on IPAs.
Guys, IPA is not strictly a Toronto thing or Ontario thing, Canadian thing. IPA is very much so a hipster thing. Like very much so.
It originated from the US for sure.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, it's Indian Pale Ale, and if you recall,
I did not know that.
Actually, I don't recall the original.
Actually, if you recall, everything just started in the U.S. Isn't that true? Everything.
Apparently, started in the U.S., manufactured in China. Anyway, moving on.
Boys, I went to Big Trouble on Saturday. Pardon? The one in Chinatown, right across Rosewood, the dim sum place. It was pretty good actually.
It's an upstairs like bar lounge area. They have like
it's
a really cool aesthetic.
Really, like it looks really sketchy outside, but you go in and it's like pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So actually a perfect description.
Exactly. After hours, it turns into a full blown club.
Yeah.
So it's a small club, but it's like full blown. And man, the music they were playing, you wouldn't believe this. They were playing like Afrobeats. They were playing like Kendrick, they were playing Drake. Like they played All Right at one point, and then they played Mad City in the same night. I was like, whoa, where am I right now? It was great. Lots of people around, lots of women as well. Great ones. It was funny. I looked into the corner and there was pretty much like someone having a threesome in the back corner, something like that. It was,
Who
yeah.
Who were the individuals involved?
Who would I want you to guess. I want you to guess. Like, think about someone doing like it wasn't obviously like anything too raunchy, right? But think about three individuals, right? They're doing a threesome, or okay, no, they're not doing a threesome. We can get into this a little bit too, but
Mhm.
they're not like engaged in the act of a threesome, but they're very intimate, the three of them together. Now, do you think this dynamic is characteristic of like two males and a female, or two females and a male?
Two females.
what
and
do
a
you
Two
male.
females and a male. Let me just not.
Two females and a male. I feel like if there were two men on one girl, like someone would punch the dude. Like so like someone would like try
One
and
of the
step
other
It
in.
wouldn't
dudes,
be
maybe?
that intimate out in public as well, too, right? Like
Yeah,
be a
exactly.
DL thing like in public, and then they go down and do the business.
Exactly.
Like, first of all, I'll just say this: we have seen this exact situation like a few times, even in our like more like personal contexts, like with our friends, and it has never, ever, ever been in like all the years of me working service and all this shit. I've never seen two males and one female in public. Like that's like
Never.
I don't ever imagine that as being a thing.
Never.
Oh,
It's
I've
like
been offered by a male, like a male friend. It's like,
you've been
As in,
offered
like
to
a
do a
guy
threesome?
came up to you and was like,
don't get me wrong, he was my friend. He's my friend, not was. He's my
okay,
and like I'll keep his identity private just because of the way y'all niggas is reacting right now.
you should definitely
Well,
keep
no, yeah, we're not gonna like you
But
know,
yeah, he was.
just be out here.
I remember like I think he was trying to link up with the girl, and like I knew her too, and like he was like, "Yo, she's like super cool." He was like, "We could probably Eiffel Tower her if you want, man." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm gonna go meet her now. Like, just let me know. Like, and like we'll link up. We'll go to her spot." I was like, "Are you being serious?" And he was like, "Bro, yes. Like, tell me now. Like, I'm actually going." I was like, "Bro, nah." Like, yeah. I was like, "Yeah, nah." Like, gotta think about that. But like, nah. Like, she's all yours. Man. She's all yours. Like, hey, you're good. Like, yeah. Like,
So what was the main issue here for you? What was the main thing in here? Was it
I don't know.
you didn't want to
What
share?
an
Was it
Eiffel Tower was to me as well. Like,
was it-
yeah, but what?
yeah, no, that's fine. Maybe this is a new experience or whatnot. But was this more so like you didn't want to share, or you just didn't want to see him naked?
See, this is what I'm saying. my friend, one of my friends, Lauren, put it best. She says I'm not fully sexually liberated, and like I guess I'm just not. I'm just not. Okay, let's just leave it at that. I don't know. Who,
You didn't even answer the question.
Yeah, what was the issue?
You can't
here?
hide behind this sexual
Was
liberation.
it
shield,
was it like a
sadly, you know?
logistical issue, as in like you didn't want to leave your house? Was it like that simple, as in like, yo, you know what, like these plans are okay,
no, don't get me
but
wrong,
like
man. I'm
to
trying
do these
fuck-
plans, I need to
like,
leave?
I thought it'd be a cool. And don't get me wrong. See, I'm the kind of guy. It's like something could be extremely dumb, and like I would want to do it just for the experience. I most likely would never repeat it, but I'm gonna try something just for the experience kind of guy. So don't get me
Okay.
wrong. That crossed my mind. It was like, yo, like you know, this doesn't have to be something repeated. Like you can just do it for the experience. And I was just like, I don't know, man. I just don't know. I wasn't there. Don't get me wrong. I might be there later in my life, but like at that point, I just wasn't there yet. And don't get me wrong, but he tried to make. He was like, he'd done this with some other brother, one of his other friends before. This is what I'm saying. Like dudes would do this, and like we wouldn't know because this is like low key after the party kind of thing, right? And he was like, he's done
Yeah.
this before. Like it's cool. And, like I asked him, and he's like, yo, man, like we don't even like get to see something like nothing. He's like, you go in, like I go in, we do different things. All we can do, see, and he's like, yo, I don't want to make eye contact. He's like, neither of us want to make eye contact, yeah? And he's like, and it's not both hands, it's one hand, like opposite hands. I was like,
First of all, I'm pretty sure it's both hands, but like
is it both?
that's fine.
I don't think
It
there's
is.
a
It's
rule
both
book to
hands.
this. I
It's
don't think
both
there's a
hands.
rule book to
All
this.
right,
I'm setting a rule right now. It's both hands.
I wouldn't do both hands. Okay.
If you
Well,
if
think
you
about
want
it this way: how is
if
it
you
the
want
Eiffel
the,
Tower if it's like this? Like it has to be both, right?
if you want the full
Millennium Tower,
unlocked
the Eiffel Tower has
experience,
4 legs.
No,
you need
connects
to
to the
use
top.
both hands.
sorry.
You need to use both hands if you want the full unadulterated experience.
Okay, yeah.
It's just you connect emotionally, physically, mentally, everything. It's the tip of the pyramid. This is what unlocks everything.
Yeah, no, like, yeah, wow.
Okay, so let's dig.
I want to
Yeah.
dig deep into this too, right? So, talking about the logistics of threesomes, right? So, in this particular case, where it was, and I'll say this, and like we can kill it and go into like the meat of the bones, like meat of the issue is like
issue.
Meat of the bones and then meat of the like. I'm sorry, sales rep. This call is not going well right now.
No, I'm just trying to let you know, like, we're not there yet, and we're going deeper. So, this
Okay.
2 men, 1 female threesome. The logistics were the 2 guys kind of agreed, and like one of the guys just knew the girl was like chill enough to be down for this. You know what I mean? I'm assuming they had a conversation previously, and like, you know, and like she was like, yeah, like I fuck with like you and your friend kind of thing, possibly. And he was arranging with me. Now, I imagine my question is for the other side of it, and I've never been successful at a threesome before, but I have attempted. Like, you know what I mean? And I like to think I got close, but ultimately failed, which doesn't count for anything. Like, I don't know if
No,
oh,
it counts for something.
I guess so. But if you guys have, like, how do you go about like setting this up? Is this a you and one girl thing, and then you try and rope in someone else, or is this like
With 2 girls?
Yeah, with 2. So I'm talking 1 guy, 2 girls now. Or is this like 2 girls just happen to be in the mood and like they end up finding a guy? Because like I've heard like, you know, that before, like 2 girls just down and like one guy. How would you guys envision like putting this together? Would it be like a random thing? Would it be like a planned thing? Would the 2 girls be friends? Would they be 2 that don't know each other? Like, I guess it depends if you're with a partner or if you're not. Like, I don't know. How do you guys? Because like this is one of those fantasy things that guys think about and that guys go about. And I happen to be involved in a little bit of a situation this weekend where I saw some threesome logistics happening right in front of me. And it didn't necessarily, like, you know, take off. And like, I could see like where the fault in the plan was, because it was like, I was like, yo, this shit happened to me too. Don't get me wrong. Like, he ended up with one of the girls, and in my attempt, I ended up with one of the girls, but no, we're both, right? So it was like, I've gone that far too. Like, I haven't lost both at the same time. So I was just going down. I was like, yeah, this is bucket list shit. And don't get me wrong, I didn't end up asking Buddy like if this was his first one or not. It was just like, you know, just leave it at respect. I see what you're doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like move on. So just putting it out there to the guys and like audience, if you're listening to, please get in. Threesome logistics. How best do you think it would be to arrange a successful threesome?
So I organized one, but didn't carry it out. Like it was just, and it was completely on my end. And the funny, you're gonna think this is funny. The reason why I didn't carry it out is because I ended up getting into a relationship before the date to carry it out came.
And you couldn't push back this.
I couldn't. It just happened. Listen, this was a while ago. This was Arya Senti boy. You know, he was like, "All right, cool." You know,
well, clearly you were not friends with me and D during that phase.
No, yes,
you would have had both, sir.
Yeah, like
this was the time before the 2 of you.
Was it like a completely different girl you got in a relationship with, or one of the 2 girls?
They didn't even know each other. They were completely unrelated. They were completely unrelated. Okay.
The disappointment for our listeners, the disappointment in D's eyes just now was extremely palpable.
It's okay.
I felt it.
It worked out. It worked out in many cases on my end, but pretty much like it was always like a very casual thing. I think like we tried to not make it very uncomfortable and like think like it was something weird, because like they were actually like both kind of down. And it's like, if it's something that you can, this was completely planned, by the way. So this wasn't like a spontaneous thing. So you know, you were asking like,
so
pardon?
Were you the one that brought up the idea? Did you like say which friend you wanted to be with, or you just told one girl and she was like, I have a friend that's down? Like,
no. So we hung out regularly together, and like just the 3 of us. Like we were just like
you
friends. You know what I mean? Yes, and these 2 friends. We every once in a while we hang out and things like that, right? Like they come to my games or something like that. You know, we just.
Which sport? I heard you play sports. What are you fucking saying?
Yeah. Hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played hockey.
Anyways, yeah. For those of you who didn't know, I used to play hockey. Anyways, yeah, we always hung out, and then I think one day we just like it came up like a few times. You know, this wasn't something that was all of a sudden someone brings it up out of the blue. It's something everyone is like kind of familiar with, and like none of us would have really suggested it if we didn't kind of have an idea of what the other person was thinking about it. And then one day it was just like we were all like chilling, and we were like, we should have a threesome, and it was very explicit. It was like very just kind of out there, no sugarcoating it, anything like that. And we kind of all looked at each other, we agreed, and then we kissed on it, and then it just never happened.
What was it?
So it was kind of like
what just came out of your mouth, my guy? What do you mean?
Listen, you can't
what do you
judge.
mean? We kissed on it, like you kissed her, and then she kissed the other girl, and then the other girl kissed. Like was it a A B B C A C?
Yeah, why are you acting like this is why is this so surprising to you? This is not a shot.
Wait. This is what young did. Like,
yeah, I guess. But anyways, it just never happened because like we weren't gonna do it right then and there.
Wait, no, but you three-way kiss. That happened.
Pardon?
Three-way kissed? Like three of you?
No, not all at the same time. It's not like three people. Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
we each just like
A B.
Yeah, we just like kiss each other.
AC.
Oh, that was what I was trying to verify this whole time. I was like, what?
Yeah, no. Luke thinks like we're so. Yeah. Luke thinks this is like some weird thing. There's no other way to really do it. So
no, I'm saying the fact that the ABBC thing is weird. I'm not saying okay, whatever. Like,
no, we just went for whatever. But it was pretty much that, and then nothing ever came out of it.
Wait,
to be honest.
Essentially, they didn't get to kiss one of the girls, and one of the girls was kissing both of you.
No, like we all like kissed each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like everyone
both
had
of them, and they both kissed you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone had a turn.
What?
Everyone had a turn.
Dude, I thought you understood
listen,
that.
we were pretty young. So it was like, we didn't really like know how to like go about it, I guess. But that was
don't take me serious.
Yeah, D's like trying to figure out like the most unimportant details about this.
Yeah,
whole thing.
I know. Like honestly,
so
like
wait, how
D
did
came
it
into
work? Where
this
were you
topic
sitting? Were you
with,
sitting on the
like-
left side or the right side? Did you have your hand in the air and the?
He's looking for a play-by-play, bro. He's looking for a instant replay. Instant replay.
I mean, all this to say, the idea behind that was, D, to your point, it was planned. It wasn't like necessarily spontaneous. I feel like spontaneous is always just going to happen. You probably just never talk about it again. Mm-hmm. But if it's planned, it's the potential for like a decent arrangement.
Okay. Luke, what do you think? Like, I'll tell my story. It was kind of more spontaneous, but I want to hear like what Luke.
I feel like I'll say this. First of all, like you worded your question very improperly because you're like really this whole topic is about how do you set up a girl and a guy threesome from the perspective of a guy. Like that's what you really wanted to talk about, not like threesomes in general.
What else is that?
Like that's not all threesomes. It's all this to say. Like
okay.
Because here's what I'll tell you, man. Like as someone who's been with a lot of very liberated women, the majority of threesomes happen with a couple and a person who's not in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what the majority of threesomes happen. Okay. And yeah, they a lot of times they happen in girl bi relationships with a guy.
Okay.
When it's a guy. And that's like my experience, right? The one very, very specific time I was offered, it was with a couple. I did not accept it, but like that's my perspective on that. Now to your question about like spontaneity versus like planned, I think it's just about like you need a like. Here's what I'll say. Like I don't think it's about setting up a threesome. I think it's about putting yourself in situations where threesomes happen. Like it's more about like like if you want to have like a threesome, number one, you need to hang out with liberal people. Like I will tell you this for a fact. I do personally believe if that's what your desire is, you need to be around sexually liberated people, like girls who are bi or like pansexual, like guys who are like not like, I wouldn't even say bi, but like guys who are not like so stereotypically straight where they're like, yo, if I see another dude that's like naked, that's done. Like I'm not like engaging anymore. Right. So it's like, that's what I think, like from my perspective, like
is
the one time
thing?
it was, what do you mean?
Sorry.
Is that a bad thing to not want to see another guy naked?
No, and that's not right. But it's like,
okay.
But it's like, let's say like you want to just like your goal is just to get into any type of threesome. Like this would be the criteria to get there. Another thing I was gonna say, D, is like this whole like, bro, I don't know who this person who you're talking to. I think I know the person who you're saying who says you're not sexually liberated. As a guy, you do not need to be comfortable with seeing another guy naked to be sexually
That's what I'm
liberated.
saying.
I was not.
Like, what is that like coming from? It's like, bro, by the way, if you're a guy and you will never ever want like a male girl threesome, that doesn't mean you're like not sexually liberated.
You're right. Like I was saying that more as like a catchphrase, and like I feel like when she was saying that to me too, that was more of a joke. But, like,
you know what the other thing is, bro?
that could lead to false like like connotations and shit.
Yeah. The other thing is, if you're a guy and you don't want like to have a threesome with two girls, that's also doesn't mean you're not sexually liberated. Like that's just your preference, you know. Like every man has different preferences, but yeah, like that's my general perception. Like I feel like it's about like putting yourself in a situation where you can where they can happen. Like you know what I mean? Like for example, like I know certain groups of friends that I have where it's like that will never happen, and because I hang out with those types of people, we won't go to events where those things can even happen. Like if we go to a club, it's going to be the most popular club in Toronto, not like a very like, like exotic and like cool and like sexy, like sort of club. You know what I mean? Where like shit like that could happen and you could meet people like that, like where things like that happen. So it's like, that's all I'm here to say. Like, it's more about putting yourself in a situation, in my opinion, as a person who's only been offered once. That's my perspective.
Yeah, no, and like I feel like it's kind of no matter how I ask the question, how horrible it is. Thank God for niggas like you and Arya that will always bring it full circle. Make sure we touch it. Every part.
We just say we'll fully be on some fuck shit and be like, okay, yeah. So back to the point, you know.
We always bring a circle back, but yeah, you're right. I wanted to cover like both aspects, like girl, male, and male, girl. And I think you touched on a very important point too, because I remember when I was trying to ask the question, I was like, there's the relationship perspective, and then there's there's just two friends like that are chilling, like two guy friends. You know what I mean? Like me and my buddy, like we're like chilling, we're like, yo, there's this girl, like she'd probably be down, let's go do it. And like I know we're all single, and I feel like that's kind of why like I was proposing it and like that saying, but like I'm like, yeah, all of us have just been, you guys more than me. I've been in relationships at certain points, and I don't know if like you've ever adventured or tried that. I'd say my one threesome opportunity was kind of, I was with a girl and like we're chilling, and we're doing our thing in her room, and one of her friends comes in, and she was just so casual with it, like, oh yeah, like I don't mind you guys just like doing your thing here, like I'm just gonna come right by the bed where we were. Like look for something, like not be in a hurry.
that was an opportunity for sure.
Not be in a hurry. And I'm like, oh, like what's up? Do you wanna like join us something? like I'm cool with it. And the friend was like, yeah, come on, come. And then she stood there and she looked at us and she's laughing. And she's like, nah, and I'm like, now, like, I'm into it. Like, I'm like, yo,
D's thinking.
Like, I'm not, like, on some very...
D1 Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah,
bro.
it's very tame shit. I'm like, negotiation skills on 1,000 right now. And, like, I'm trying to talk to her. She's like, no, we're both crazy. Like, we should just do what we're doing. And, like, forget she ever came. I'm like, what do you mean? You can't just casually stroll in here while people are doing something and not awkwardly walk out. Like, she just... continue walking, but yeah, so was not able to convince her.
I think that's the funniest thing. I see D, in that moment. All right, in that moment, there was something that ran through D's head, in which he never, in a million years, would have imagined.
Bro,
but in that one moment, he told himself, "I'm committed to this. I'm committed to this.
I wasn't expecting.
I'm ready."
For a fact, I was like, yo, this is something I'm willing, like, no matter the consequences, I'm going for it. No matter how it scars me, if they never both talk
committed to the cause.
I don't care. But yeah. Like,
oh my God. Okay. I think we should move forward. One thing that I've been like at work, it's been a bit of a transition period for us because we're just changing up a few of the ways that we approach things and things like that. This is something that Luke brought up and I'm just trying to find a nice way to squeeze this in here. But one thing that I have to now do is unlearn a lot of routine, because a lot of our routines are going to be changing. So when you brought this up, Luke, I was actually really happy you did, because I think that I would personally be able to benefit from it. So selfish reasons aside, why don't you go ahead and like tell us what's on your mind? Because this one I think is going to be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I had nothing really in mind, right? It was really just like, I feel like, I want the root of this conversation to be extremely practical in terms of like not even like ideas. I just want us to like talk about like shit we do, because I feel like, there's a difference between trying to set positive routines versus breaking out of negative routines. Because with setting positive routines, it's like there's a lot of circumstances where like you actually don't know what to do, right? Like let's say you're like someone who is like a novice to working out and you want to get fit. It's like part of that journey requires a lot of discovery, right? But like let's say you're like not an alcoholic, but like let's say you probably drink a bit too much, right? And it's like you're drinking every day and you're like, you know what, like I'm fine with this, but I maybe just like obviously drinking every day is probably bad, so I don't want to do this. And it's like in those types of circumstances where it's like you maybe probably know what that looks like, it's like how do you break out of those, right? And I don't know, like maybe it's not as light and day from my perspective in terms of breaking out of negative routines. Maybe it's just as complex as setting positive routines, but it's like I feel like, for example, like let me get like very specific here. Like one of those things I can think of is like I'm saying, let me get really specific. Like, I can't think of a specific.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yeah.
Are we drawing a line here, like between the differences of what we would consider routine and what we consider like just bad habits?
Sure. Yeah.
Because I feel like
not
the drinking example
like,
is more of like a habit, but I do think that they're different things. So I just wanted to like know where you're coming from.
Why are they different? If you like, I guess routine. The only thing I'm saying about routine is you do it every day. Like that's the only defining criteria.
I think a routine is something that's like planned, like you organize it. There's a schedule to it. It's something that kind of keeps you in place. A habit is just something that you can pick up like at any moment. Like I have a habit of, I don't know, just like let's say you're a bad driver, you have a habit of hitting the garbage can on the way out the driveway. Things like that, or like you said, smoking or drinking.
Okay, so I don't think it matters whether or not it's a routine or a habit in this situation, right? It just like you notice a bad thing that is happening in your life. How do you break out of it?
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but I'm approaching it from a habit standpoint, because I think a routine to break, like since it's so structured, it requires just like a lot of thinking and a lot of preparation to change your routine entirely. Because like your routine is the single thing that's like keeping you stable, right? It's like what your life path is your routine.
Okay, so sure.
To change that requires you to change everything.
We can go with I think habit fits better in this context.
Okay, awesome. D.
I can go first, yeah. And like I'm trying to answer both. I guess what you're trying to differentiate is habit might be more short term, routine might be more long term activity, and like y'all trying to address both. For me, I'd say the most important thing is taking a break. I'll say this, and you said be practical, and this is kind of like how I like try and frame like me being extremely lazy in a positive light. Like sometimes I go through spells where I'm just like extremely lazy and don't want to do shit, and essentially when I do those things, I find all my routine breaks. It's like I'm just like floating, and that's usually what those periods are. So don't get me wrong, I usually don't like normally plan these periods of floating, but these periods of floating usually come by when like shit isn't going like the best. You know what I mean? Like when I've hit a setback. So they kind of just come and they float. And I find right after to come out of a floating period, I almost always need to implement a new habit or a new routine. But most times to come out of a floating period, it's like, yo, I need to take something out and put this instead. So I come out and be better than my last time. So in that sense, it kind of is a little bit cyclical. So like I'd say most of the times, the ways I break my bad habits, and this might not be the best, like for me personally is, I guess I kind of wait till the habit like kind of blows up and then I float and then I float and then I form a new habit because now I kind of have to. And like, I don't know, that sounded a lot worse than I think it usually is, but I don't know. I think I've made it so far, and I've done it enough times to realize like that's what happens. Because sometimes I get in a slump, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" And like sometimes, like it's not always easy to self-diagnose your slump. Like sometimes I'm just like, "Yo, I just need to get back on my shit right now." You know what I mean? I need to like get this, like add a new activity into my routine. So I'd say like habits. That's more of the ways I break out of habits. Now routines. And this is a little bit more drastic, and this is funny because I just traveled and I saw some family, and I remember we are talking about someone else, like a mutual friend of ours, and we're just talking about like the routine, the lifestyle, like he was saying, and I just made like a suggestion, and like this is not to the person directly, we're just talking, and I was like, like why don't we just like advise that person to move? Like it doesn't have to be out of city, it doesn't have to be out of state, it might just be out of their house. Maybe out of that city. Like I feel like changes of environment, and I've experienced this a little bit because I've moved quite a bit. In my life, I feel like they always shatter my routine. And I experienced this even coming here to Toronto, and I think I've discussed this with you guys a little bit, that my first month I was kind of like in a funk. I remember I've been talking to you guys, and I'm like, I'm just not comfortable yet. Like, my sister shared something with me. She was like, home is not a place, it's a routine kind of thing. And she was like, I had to form She was like, I had to form new routines in Toronto to make it feel more homey kind of thing. And that forced me to change my routine. And I remember talking to you guys when you guys came over, and I'm like, gotta change some college shit. Like, take some of that stuff out. I'm like, yeah, because like I do need a new routine. So I don't know, for the two, I usually say, so for like a habit, like a break, and like, just going into a funk, and to come out of a funk, you almost always need to form like, something like a positive habit or reinforce something positive in yourself to come out and give you the confidence. And then for habits, like routine, like a drastic change of environment, like a moving from a house, moving to a new city, moving to a new place, moving like, my parents, or to a new apartment or something. Yeah, so those are like my two practical ways of breaking out of bad habits. And like I said, the first one, and I'll end it here. It's not always conscious. Sometimes it blows up in my face.
I was gonna say the first one, and correct me if I'm wrong. To me that just sounds like autonomous regulation. He's just like, you know what? The universe will take care of this. I don't. You just do your approaches, do nothing, and eventually it'll be okay.
You gotta be aware. That's the one thing you gotta do. Just be aware.
You gotta be aware, and you have to have faith. You have to have faith. You have to have faith
in the cycle.
Yeah, and it's not even faith in anything else. It's just faith in yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to figure it out. But it's just like it's the world, it's the universe forcing your hand to do something. I get that.
You get what I mean?
I mean,
that's practical.
I don't know like how good I am at breaking bad habits because I have a lot of them. But with routines. So like my entire routine got shook up like when me and my parents moved last year. Like everything just like blew up. I went basically from being in school and having like a university routine to being in a new country, in Europe, and having that sort of like international routine that was its own thing in a different time zone. I come back here to like a half empty house, and like there's very little routine to possibly even set up in that space. And then now I'm split between two places. So the one thing that I've learned in terms of keeping my routine in order is consistency and just control over the whole operations or logistics of what your routine is. And this can be in any way, right? Like I fall off with routines here and there, but when I need to like build a routine or I need to shake one, I make sure that all the other aspects are consistent. So for example, right, I move, and let's say in the morning I have a skincare routine that consists of X, Y, and Z. Right now I'm living between two parents. So the ideal thing for me to do is a very simple fix. I just get two of the products that I need, and I keep one there and I keep one there. And this helps me keep my routine consistent so that no matter where I am, I have access to the things I need to make my morning feel normal. It's just like one little thing. Or, for example, with work, now that it's remote, I don't know, tomorrow I could work from the office. Day after I could work from my dad's. Day after I could work from my mom's. One day I could work from my coworkers. Something like that. So before I used to like carry 2 laptop bags, super inefficient, just fucks up my routine. Sometimes you forget one, whatever, right? Now it's like I keep everything in one bag, and I keep certain things with me that I know I'm going to need to make sure that my workspace is consistent no matter where I move it. So it's like adaptability, I think, would be the best thing, because that also makes it really easy to jump out of a routine. Because if you need to like change one thing, a lot of times when like shit's just not consistent, you might not pay attention, you know, like you might miss some other things. It just might seem like a whole inconsistent mess. But when everything else seems normal, it's much easier to focus in on what you want to change. At least I found. So I've been playing around with my routine, you know, like taking out things that I like and taking out things I don't like and putting in things I like. And I found that when I'm able to keep it consistent across anywhere that I am at any given moment, that is my ideal. And that's when I can make the most changes. And I think that's like speaks to what you said, right? Home is not a place, it's a routine, right? So like wherever you can recreate that comfort zone is positive. In terms of habits, man, honestly, like quit cold turkey.
So what?
That's the only way. Quit cold turkey. Whatever it is that you want to stop, quit cold turkey. That's the only way.
You know what? Like,
That's the only way.
I'm gonna disagree with that. Like, I feel like cold turkey always goes for like a harder rebound. Like, you know what I mean? The rebound might not be like 1 year, it might not be 5 years, but when it's gonna happen, it's gonna be.
Yeah, but you gotta have faith in yourself. Like, I don't know. I don't like quit a habit with the thought of like when I'm gonna do it again, right? It's just like I need to stop right now. You know, and if it happens in the future, it's for different reasons, not because of the way I started it.
That's fair. That's fair. I was gonna say like
But-
I disagreed because I'm more of a like I need to convince myself why I need to stop doing this, and that will just be like a gentle reduction until like I just can't stand it anymore. You know what I mean? Like the thought of you just you know what I mean? Like that's also just another way. I wouldn't say it's a better.
Yeah, like we're all different, right? This is just like what I do and like what I'm, I guess, good at. I've personally, with habits, I haven't seen success when I try to like little by little take it out. You know, it's just I don't find success in that.
Before Luke,
Personally.
I just want to come at Arya one more time and be like, bro, did you even really answer the question? So how do you get rid of your bad ones? Like, give a practical example of how you've gotten rid of a bad one.
So quit cold turkey.
Oh, quick.
That's what I just said. Yeah, quit cold turkey.
Yeah.
And you've done that?
I literally just answered that, and you disagreed.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's
That's fine. Like it's literally like you know what I mean by quit cold
Yeah.
turkey, right? It's
I
just
wanna
like
hear about
just eliminate all traces of it, right? Like for example, I like if I tell myself like, oh, like I don't want to smoke cigarettes for like a month, you know, which I've done in the past, or let's say like 2 weeks or whatever, right? It's not like enough for me to be like, oh, like okay, like I'm only gonna do like 1 this week and then, or sorry, like 2 this week and then, you know, 1 the week after, and then I'm gonna stop for 2 weeks and then, you know, whatever happens after that. No, it's like just stop, right? Because otherwise I'm like, oh, okay, I want another one, I want another one, I want another one, you know, something like that. I don't know. It's just that's like I understand that about myself, so therefore that is the approach that I need. Another really big thing. And you know what, this actually like bleeds into another point that I had for this. I think that a really big thing with routines or habits, whatever it is, both of them, I think this applies to both, and getting rid of them is honesty and transparency with yourself. That's it. Like if you can be honest with yourself, that's great. That means you're in this is the first step of having a reasonable conversation with yourself and being able to listen to yourself and listen to reason and things like that. Like I know when I'm lying to myself. I know it. Sometimes like I'll continue to lie because I just don't want to like quit what I'm doing. And that's fine, right? Like do it when you're ready. But to like try and quit or to try and get out of something while you're not being honest with yourself, I think that's more of a catalyst to, you know, you relapsing or rebounding or whatever it is down the line than it is to just stop it and then have a craving and break down like 10 years down the line. Because anything could lead to that breakdown. You know, like you could be having a bad day and that's not your fault. You know what I mean? Like it's just so psychologically we're wired to go back to things we're comfortable with. But anyways, that's my 2 cents on that.
Okay. I actually have a very specific answer for this. My answer is start. And like, don't think about it, just start. My point about this is I feel like I've quit many bad habits in my life. Like, and different people can disagree, but I do truly believe this. And I would say the biggest one is I lost 90 pounds. So I mean, like, I think I can fucking sell a fitness course just based off that. And the main thing is, I think when you look out there, there's a lot of material out there, right? They tell you focus on the why, like find the motivation for why you want to do what you do. Or they tell you these like very like, like abstract ideas, like every time you think about like, let's say weight loss as like the example, right? Because that's the one I can specifically relate to. Like, oh, every time you want to eat, like set some sort of specific mechanism so that you don't you remind yourself not to do that. The point of the matter, I feel like, is a lot of times in life, people overcomplicate shit. And it's like, if you don't want to stop doing something, you need to start. And the other principle I want to put forward is that motivation is very, very, very misunderstood. Like, people have this idea that motivation comes from nowhere. It is actually a fact that motivation is a result of action. Like, this is like not even like, this is a fact that's so true that it like applies to pretty much every single person in the world. People think of motivation as like a preparation and an action period. It's actually a cycle. You start with action and then you get more motivated and it continues to feed back in a loop. There was so many times in my life where I was like, yo, this January, I'm going to lose weight, or this time I'm going to lose weight, or blah, 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 I'm going to lose weight. I started losing weight the day I decided I wanted to go eat a snack. And then I realized I'm not actually hungry right now. I'm eating this because I'm kind of bored. And I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to eat that snack. And guess what? Like 3 days later, I probably ate like a bunch of snacks because I was like bored. But I started that process and that motivation started building. And over time, it really became something more tangible. So the whole reason I wanted to bring up this topic is because like I was just watching like a lot of material recently about like, the science of breaking out of habits and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I think that's true. But honestly, as someone who, in the past has tried to break out of habits and gone down this rabbit hole of doing all this research, I feel like it's sometimes not helpful because doing the prep work for starting to break your habit is almost just as rewarding as breaking your habit. And to me, the most tangible thing is like, just to do it, like not prep for it, but like just do it. And once you start doing it, you're going to be more motivated and that's going to build upon itself. So I think that's what I wanted to put forward today, right? Like, it's just like, I feel like people always focus on like the prep and the motivation behind it. But at the end of the day, to me, it's more about the action and like just taking the first step sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah, and like I was making a joke about autonomous regulation when you were saying action breeds motivation, motivation breeds action. Like I think you're absolutely right there. And just to make myself feel better, I think that's what happens when I break out of bad habits. Oh man.
It sparks some motivation. No, I like where we landed on this, boys. And I like it even more because we're at time. And this is just like perfectly timed. So why don't we get to these community highlights? So, boys,
Yes, sir.
what do
I have
we
a special
have
one for you guys today
to watch? Unless you want to start with whatever category it was that the special one is, Luke. Is it to listen? Is it to watch? We'll start with watch.
It's in another category, actually.
Oh, it's in another category. Okay,
Yeah.
So you can just introduce down. But yeah, you guys have anything to watch? Anything?
I'll go weird here. I'll say you'll go with Cassandra, you'll go with Adrian, or Sarah Beth Yoga.
We already shouted those ones out, but it's good to know that you're still on that flex. Yeah.
Wait, did we?
But no,
Yeah, we did several episodes ago. But like I don't think it was recent, no. So we can definitely include that again.
Yeah,
Okay.
kids I feel like just because like I was traveling and it was like there's sometimes where I just felt really uncomfortable and like I just put on like a quick video on my laptop in like my hotel room or in like my cousin's house or whatever. Like, it was just something so accessible that didn't require me to be like, oh, where's this gym? Or have to be like, oh, like let me plan around that. Like I just did that and it just always grounds me, gets me comfortable. So yeah, just check.
I will say this, in my personal opinion, I feel like yoga with Adrian is some of her videos are a little advanced. Like
I thought she was the beginner one.
No,
Her beginner videos are super beginner friendly, but then like her regular routines, I feel like she's like, you know what I mean? Like she's in her bag, like she knows what she's doing.
it's like no, they're like flows where it's kind of like she's saying it as she's going. She's not necessarily thinking about like
she's flowing.
Yeah, she's flowing. She's not stopping and being like, okay, this is the next pose, and we're coming out of this, and this is the next pose. You know what I mean? She kind of just thinks like, you know, it gets to there's certain poses that like, you know, there's like a sun salutation and it's like 6 poses in a row and people have these flows and there's like a vinyasa flow and stuff. So she's just like, you've been doing this long enough to know, but you're right there. So be careful with yoga with Adrian. Like definitely check for beginner.
Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
So watch. I don't know if anyone
I have a show shout out. I watched a few episodes of this and I really like it. Shout out the Germans again, man. Just great. Yeah, what's up, D?
I remembered one more show to shout out, but keep going. Germans.
Okay. The Germans, they just be making like bangers on Netflix. Like whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is, but then, you know, I've been on this whole like, you know, I like spy movies, you know, like CIA, you know, like KGB, you know, those kind of things. And this one's just basically about, you know, like it's 1929 Berlin, and it's like undercover spies and like political conspiracies and things like that. It's called Babylon Berlin. So there's 3 seasons of it actually. I think each one has about like 8 episodes, like each like almost 50 minutes. So great stuff. D, what do you got? What do you got, man? An anime.
I put on.
Look at that.
The thing is, like, yo, I don't hate anime. I just never. I'm not obsessed with it. And that's just what it is. Like, I'm an admirer and a watcher. Like when properly motivated or properly introduced by someone who loves it more than me. Hunter x Hunter is the name of this anime, and like I believe it's a couple seasons I got put on, and like I really enjoyed it. I don't want to give a synopsis, but it's like a little kid. His dad was a hunter, and he's trying to create, like, hopefully spend more time with his dad by being elite level hunter like his dad, so they can, like, you know, go hunting and spend time together. And, like, this is
I'm glad you didn't try to give a synopsis because that's a horrible synopsis, but that's okay. And for clarification, it's Hunter x Hunter, not Hunter. Hunter.
Oh, well, there we go. See, people that love the show way more than me coming in to correct me. Love you guys. But it's a great show. I really enjoyed it. Like, I think I got like 4 or 5 in like 2 days. So.
Oh, bro, if you like the first few episodes, you're gonna enjoy it a lot.
Okay, boys, what do you got to read? Does anyone have anything to read?
No, not this week.
No,
not this week.
No.
Okay, we need to figure out our next book club episode.
Okay.
Fuck. Oh shit, I haven't.
I was gonna say,
yeah, we know
book to read, but I like recommending books I've read, not like.
Okay, that's fine.
If you feel comfortable giving a recommendation, you can give it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's a book like I have like I got a library card very recently, and I saw it at the library, and I was like, yo, I'm coming to this, but I'm not yet because I'm reading a book right now. But Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy.
Anna Karenina
by Leo Tolstoy. It's some old Russian literature. I'm pretty excited. I've heard great things about Leo Tolstoy. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'll start reading it into the new year, like once I'm done my current book, which I'm almost done. But yeah, if anyone else in the audience is reading it, let me know, and like let's go together.
Beautiful, boys. You got anything to eat? I do. I just want to, like, I've been here before, but I just want to shout out Ruby Soho. I went there last week, and it was just like great, man. Great vibe, great time. They took a little bit too long to come greet our table. And then, you know, the manager came back around. It was like, dope dude, like sick tats all around. And he just comes back with like a shot, like 4 shots of, there was 4 of us at the table, 4 shots of tequila. Just puts it on the table. He's like, hey, like, my bad, guys. Like, you know, here, enjoy this. This one's on us. And I wasn't even mad, you know. It was like, I was like, I get it. Like, shit happens. Like, they still took our order. Food came out quick. Like, it was great overall. But yeah, no, it was just great service. And like the people there were nice. And, you know, maybe I may or may not be in love with all the women who work there. So, you know, that's another thing. Maybe, you know.
You know what? I will provide a recommendation for a food spot because I realized the reason why I don't really say anything is because I haven't discovered any places recently. But I feel like, like there are shout outs to be given from past places. So for my recommendation today, I want to shout out a restaurant chain in Toronto. It's called Pizza Olo. Or Pizza Yolo. They are like a pizza chain, but they do really, really high quality, like Italian style pizza. It's all wood oven. I want to give a special shout out to the Sunchoke pizza there. I fucking love that shit. So Pizza Yolo.
Nice. Do they have Pizza Yolo in Scarborough?
I don't think so. It's all like downtown and like, actually, I don't know. Like, probably, wait, let me look.
Because I was gonna say that would be a huge L on your part because there's Pizza Yolo in Mississauga for sure.
I don't think there's Pizza Yolo in Scarborough, man.
So do you wanna resurface that Scarborough Toronto debate? No, I'm kidding.
Listen, bro. Like,
I'm kidding.
I'm not.
Pizza. No. I'm closing the can. Closing the can.
I went to a Peruvian spot like out in that section. That was awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh, Peruvian food is very, very good. I think I like Latin American food a lot in general.
So,
wow,
so much flavor.
Check that out.
All right. While Luke is looking that up, boys, what you got to listen to?
I'll go first. I have about 3 recommendations. The first one is Rick Ross's "Richer Than I Ever Been." I definitely was fucking with at least like 2-3 songs there.
So you're fucking with the album, not specifically the song.
Well, I was fucking with
"Richer Than I Ever Been."
Album. Yeah, not just the song. Like I was fucking with the flow of it. Like at least the idea that he was trying to paint there. Like yeah. So shout out to Rick Ross. It was good listening to the boss talk. Second song. This is an oldie. It's an 80s song. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Everybody probably has heard this song before in their life. Tears for Fears. I'm guessing that was like an 80s band or something or a group. But Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears. It's a banger. And the last song is called Outstanding by the Gap Band. Probably a song people all know too. These last 2 songs are like throwbacks. They just, came back to me and I've been enjoying them. So yeah. Outstanding by the Gap Band.
Okay, awesome. Luke.
Nice. So my recommendation today is Tory Lanez dropped a 70s inspired album last week.
Heard that. And
I personally enjoyed a number of tracks on it. The song I want to shout out specifically is Lady of Namek. I feel like the first impression I got from listening to this album in general was like, what if like High School Musical was made in 2021 with trap artists? And I feel like if you think about it that way, you maybe will enjoy the album a little bit more. And then my second shout out is Russ's new album, Chomp 2. Many people, including myself, has falsely disrespected Russ in the past. I think that he is an artist that is gravely misunderstood. And I think that he's an artist that, at the very least, you need to admire from a business perspective. So I personally listened to the album. I thought it was pretty good. I want to shout out Top of the World featuring Jay Electronica as like a specific song I enjoyed a lot. But I think like the song Faith featuring Jadakiss is also good. So those are my few shout outs there.
Awesome. Yeah. D hit him with the oldie. I'll hit him with the oldie. Are You That Somebody by Aaliyah. I've been listening to that one a little bit too much recently, so gonna put that one up there. The other one, guys, forgive me. I have it up here. Okay, by the way, like I have some updates on Tidal. After using it for like a week or so. Great platform. Music quality is phenomenal. I just really like the way the whole thing looks. It's different. I can tell like the playlists aren't entirely as robust as Spotify, obviously so, but it competes really, really well. I'm starting to explore their mixes and things like that. There's one big downfall, and it's a pretty big one, and this will like siphon all of the data on your plan, like without an issue. I think it's already used like 3-4 gigabytes. It used 3-4 gigabytes in like 4 or 5 days. And I wasn't even streaming that much. You know, most of my streaming is done on Wi-Fi. So just keep that in mind. And I was using the hi-fi audio setting, you know, when I was out and about. I changed it. Now it's when it's on cellular, I put it to normal. So I'm going to see how that works. But it is a pretty big, you know, roadblock. Just saying. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, no, the song that I wanted to do is here. Oh yeah. I don't know if I recommended this, but I'm going to do it again anyways, just in case. But No Option by Flip De Niro. He's like an East Coast dude. I really like him. Yeah. I'm actually not a fan of like
that was
song.
A fuck that would I would go in on that. Yeah.
That song.
That was fun.
And then another thing, I recently discovered this on Tidal, but Tidal has one very specific album of J. Cole's that you can't really find on another platform. Truly Yours. Yeah, Truly Yours. So there was a lot of songs off of Truly Yours that are just like his older school songs. Some of them are from past like mixtapes, things like that. But a lot of them are just things that he made directly, you know, just for this project. And there's some bangers on here. Well, you know, like he wasn't really in like a banger mood back then, but it was like they're incredible. They're J. Cole like level bangers. Like Can I Holla at You was the one I was gonna recommend. So I'm just gonna put those two up there for now.
Okay. And
sorry, Luke.
Out
the
of
last
category recommendation is
what is the
guys,
category? You have to phrase it like a category.
It's consumables. It's consumables
to consume, to eat,
not food. So you know, as you guys know, like the three of us were pretty serious stoners, and like,
whoa,
you know,
all
I can say is
I'm gonna have to bleep that out. I don't know.
Wait, really?
No.
But anyway, like all this to say, like I'll be 100% honest. I'm a nice person, but I am very, very, very hesitant to give recommendations on things I'm truly passionate about. This is one of those things. You can ask the boys. I have broken bridges before because people have claimed that they had good supply and they didn't. I've like literally ruined relationships because they were like, yo, like this is some really good stuff. It wasn't. And today I want to give a special shout out to a manufacturer. As you guys know, I have been, maybe you guys don't know, but as you guys, you guys will know now, I have been using a vape as my primary form of consumption. And for the longest time, you know, I've tried a ton of different suppliers and no one seemed to make like an impression on me. But these past few weeks, this past month, one supplier has really fucking shined. They only make 4 cartridges, but they are fucking really good at what they do. I'm giving a shout out to Back 40, Canadian-based company. They make some other stuff that's not just cartridges, but I highly recommend their vape cartridges. I have not been disappointed. You can find it in your local dispensary. Go check them out. And like, man, like I'll be 100% honest. This is the one recommendation out of all my previous recommendations, besides maybe the soy sauce and the chili oil, that I stand by. So
why would you recommend it if you don't stand by it?
Bro, the soy sauce and the chili oil I be using from my family be using. Like my bloodline be using. Only I can stand by this cartridge, bro.
This cartridge is incredible. I've been using it too for a long time. The first one I had was their lemon haze, and that was great because it's sativa. It's just like really good. And I was standalone. And I remember like that was like the first one that they made because they didn't really have like anything else. It was just that yellow one. And then they introduced Cushmint. That was the next one I had. And then after that, like I think I tried the sour apple and whatever the
You had the forbidden fruit this weekend too. I had that.
The forbidden fruit was what?
The orange one.
The orange one. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. So they like have different flavors. Honestly, like I don't like it's great. You do see like how similar this is becoming to like Juul now. Where like things like they're playing the line between like flavors. You know what I mean? Like wasn't there like a big like controversy to like Juul
The
because it's
controversy
like
is
flavored
that
and things like
Juul
that?
was literally targeting kids in their advertising. I highly doubt
Okay.
that this company has the advertising budget to like
They're
be
not.
in those
No,
controversies.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. All I'm saying is like, yeah, we're entering a new realm here where they're starting to flavor this shit. So
Yeah.
it's like it changes the game completely, I think. But yeah, no, great recommendation. Great recommendation. All right, boys. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to another episode of the Three Wise Guys podcast. We love having you here. It's been a pleasure today. And until next time, one love.
Mwah.